There is a stretch of highway in Pennsylvania that ends in a barricade, and the asphalt on the other side is warm to the touch. Not warm from the sun. Warm from underneath. Somewhere below that road, a coal seam caught fire in 1962, and it has been burning ever since. It has outlasted the town that sat on top of it. It will outlast everyone watching this. Fires like that are not rare. All over the planet there are places where the ground itself is on fire, and has been for years, for centuries, in one case for thousands of years. Nobody can put them out. Some of them nobody even started. 7 of them, counting down. And the last one swallowed an entire American town. Number 7. Brennender Berg, Germany. In the hills near Saarbrücken, there is a wooded slope with a crack running through it, and out of that crack comes heat and a faint smell of sulfur. The coal underneath has been alight since about 1668, 3.5 centuries. Nobody knows exactly how it started. The likeliest explanation is spontaneous combustion, coal reacting with air and heating itself until it lit. Goethe climbed up to it in 1770 and wrote about the ground steaming under his feet. Miners tried to cut it off. Engineers tried to seal it. The fire is still there, and on a cold morning you can watch vapor rise straight out of the rock. There is a tourist path over it now, with a handrail, which is a strange thing to build on top of a fire that has been burning since before the United States existed. That one is small, though, more or less contained to a single hillside. The next one covers a coastline. Number 6. The Smoking Hills, Canada. On the Arctic coast of the Northwest Territories at Cape Bathurst, sea cliffs push columns of smoke into freezing air. No mine ever operated here. No person lit this. The cliffs hold oil shale rich in sulfur and iron sulfide. When erosion exposes fresh rock to oxygen, the rock heats itself and ignites. The cliffs have been smoking since at least 1826, when John Richardson's expedition sailed past and recorded them, and Inuvialuit accounts described them long before that. The smoke acidifies the ponds on the tundra above. Some of them sit closer to lemon juice than to water on the pH scale, and the small lakes near the cliffs hold the kind of life you would expect in a chemical spill, not in the Arctic. Nobody is trying to extinguish these, because there is no way to. The fire is the rock reacting with the air, and the coast keeps eroding, so it keeps exposing more rock. So far, these are fires with no audience. The next one has had one for 2,500 years. Number 5. Yanartaş, Turkey. Above the ruins of Olympos, on a rocky slope facing the Mediterranean, 24 small flames come straight out of the stone. They do not go out in rain. Smother one with a jacket and it relights. Methane seeps up through fractures in the rock and burns where it meets the air. The gas is thought to come from a chemical reaction deep in the serpentinite below, and the seep has been running for at least 2,500 years. Ancient sailors navigated by these flames. The Greeks built the myth of the chimera around this hillside, a fire-breathing creature pinned under the mountain, and the name Yanartaş means burning stone. The flames are smaller now than old descriptions suggest, but they have never stopped. People still carry tea up the trail at dusk and boil it over holes in the ground. 2,500 years sounds like the limit. It is not close to it. Number 4. Mount Wingan, Australia. In New South Wales, there is a ridge where a coal seam has been burning for roughly 6,000 years. It is the oldest known coal fire on Earth. The fire creeps south along the seam at about a meter a year, roughly 30 meters below the surface. Behind it, the ground is scorched bare and stained white and orange from minerals cooked out of the rock. Ahead of it, the bush looks normal. The burn line shows up as a moving scar. When Europeans arrived, they assumed the smoke meant a volcano and named the place Burning Mountain. The local Wanarua people had known about it far longer, and their accounts predate the settlers' confusion by a long way. At a meter a year, the fire has traveled about 6 kilometers. It has thousands of years of coal in front of it. Nobody has proposed doing anything about it, because there is nothing to do. Those 4 were lit by chemistry, or by accident. The next one, a person lit on purpose. Number 3, the Darvaza crater, Turkmenistan. In the middle of the Karakum desert, there is a hole in the ground about 70 meters wide, full of fire. The usual account is that a Soviet drilling rig punctured a gas pocket in 1971. The ground collapsed, and engineers set the escaping methane alight, expecting it to burn off in a few weeks. It has been burning ever since. Locals call it the door to hell. Parts of that story are disputed, including the date, because the Soviet records are thin. What is not disputed is that a crater full of natural gas has been on fire in the desert for over 50 years, bright enough to see from kilometers away at night. Turkmenistan's president ordered it closed in 2010 and again in 2022, citing wasted gas and environmental damage. Nothing has closed it. The gas keeps arriving from below, and as long as it arrives, it burns. Darvaza is a spectacle. The next one is a catastrophe, and people live inside it. Number 2, the Jharia coalfield, India. In Jharkhand, in eastern India, a coalfield has been burning since 1916. Not one seam. Dozens of separate fires across roughly 280 square kilometers, in the largest concentration of coking coal in the country. The fires burn under villages. Ground opens without warning and swallows houses, roads, and sometimes people. Carbon monoxide and sulfur dioxide come up through the cracks, so the air in some settlements is measurably poisonous, and residents describe ground too hot to stand on barefoot in summer. More than 100,000 people have been marked for relocation. That relocation has crawled for decades, partly because families depend on scavenging coal out of the same burning ground that is destroying their houses. They pick it from the fissures and sell it. Estimates put the coal already consumed by these fires in the tens of millions of tons, with far more left unminable. It is one of the largest ongoing industrial disasters on the planet, and it rarely makes the news because it has been happening for over a century. Which brings us back to the road that is warm underneath. Number 1, Centralia, Pennsylvania. In May 1962, a fire was lit in a landfill at the edge of Centralia, a coal town of about 1,400 people. The pit was an old strip mine. Under it, a coal seam. The fire found the seam and started spreading through the tunnels beneath the town. Crews tried to dig it out, flood it, and drill boreholes to vent it. Every attempt failed, and some of the boreholes made it worse by feeding the fire air. For years, the town lived on top of it. Then in 1981, a 12-year-old boy named Todd Domboski was standing in his grandmother's backyard when the ground opened under him. He dropped into a sinkhole about 40 meters deep, venting lethal carbon monoxide, and he survived only because his cousin pulled him out by the arms. That ended the argument. Congress appropriated tens of millions of dollars to move the town rather than fight the fire. Almost everyone took the money. The buildings came down. In 1992, the state condemned every remaining structure, and in 2002, the Postal Service revoked the town's zippy code. Today, Centralia has a handful of residents who were allowed to stay for life. The street grid is still there, grass growing through it, running past empty lots where houses stood. An abandoned stretch of Route 61 is covered end to end in spray paint and cracked by heat coming up from below. The fire is estimated to have enough coal to burn for another 250 years. 7 places, all of them real, all of them still alight tonight. And here's the part nobody warns you about. We treat fire as an event, something that starts and ends and gets cleaned up afterward. Underground, it is not an event. It is a condition, and once the ground accepts it, the ground keeps it. Next week, we go to a place the maps still get wrong on purpose.